being live streamed. It's kind of interesting how Facebook alerts us. Welcome, everybody. Thursday night, Shredders Unite business call. I am very excited, and this is a great lesson. When in business, sometimes things, best laid plans go awry. And the question is, how do you react and how do you adjust? Do you just fold your tent and say, that's it, I'm done for the day? Or you just say, no, I'm an ER shred warrior. We can do this, not a big deal. So all of you, I was going to have Colin Greenlaw on this evening. Colin had a couple major obstacles, biggest one being that the internet went down in Costa Rica, and he's limited by that. So without the internet, he can't get on the call tonight. And I got to give him a huge shout out just because he is an ER shred warrior. Unfortunately, he found out that the nanny had COVID today, and he's been very, very sick. So he assumes he has COVID. But even with that, he still was going to do the live tonight. So he said, no, I can do it. I can still come on and do this. I'm okay. And I'm like, dude, we want you to take care of yourself. We want you to take care of your family and relax. So this is actually very, very timely because luckily I have my wife on, I have Sean on, Natasha, a few others are going to try to jump on. But I wanted to start off from ground zero and kind of where we were at last week. And I think this is a great concept for everybody to understand. And that is when Sean came up with this idea, and you got to understand that this wasn't an overnight success. There was a lot of pieces that went into the planning. The actual ER aspect and the protocol came together very, very fast at the end. But it was really the thought process was, how are we going to protect our original legacy, John Anderson, Randy and Tony Escobar, how they built the company, how we focused on individual results and we elevated and we built community. I mean, that was the very beginning. That was the thought process. How are we going to do that? And the way we brand ER Shred, and I did a call the other day for those that did see it, it was simply I wanted to start to point out the differences of what makes us unique. And why are we branding ER Shred versus our fulfillment company or talking about specific products? And there's a big, big reason for this. Last night we had an amazing call. Here's the beauty of it, is that a lot of people are coming on for the first time with really raw, authentic shares, and they're getting quite emotional. They're getting emotional because they're being changed, as Jesse would say, from the inside out. And this is the beauty of what we had going back 18. Well, Sean was in it from the beginning. I'm back 17 years, but when the company was founded 20 years ago in 2002, and Tony and Randy came on rather soon, shortly thereafter, or maybe in the very beginning, the concept was simply they focused on results. They focused on the experience. And we built an amazing company. They did. I was lucky to be part of their tailwind, so to speak. But we were all focusing on getting the very best results in our 9-day system. So I thought I would start the call out tonight with our fearless leader, because Sean and I spent a lot of time having these conversations over the years, and he is the perfect person to ask this. And that is, Sean, I'd love for you to talk. Maybe we can share with the group the intention, your thought process as it relates to bringing back the concepts that we had in the beginning, and how we really wanted to focus on branding ER Shred and not our fulfillment company.
Okay, I'd love to. First of all, thank you, Bob. I'd love to. I'm sorry that Colin wasn't able to show up. Colin, if you hear this, we love you and get well, and we wish you all the best. And we know without a doubt that you would have shown up if you could have. I guess you guys got stuck with me tonight for a minute at least. But I just wanted to start off by explaining why this umbrella. I'm actually at a soccer practice right now, and it just concluded. And Bob said, hey, can you hop on? And luckily I could, and I've got good connections, so here I am. The reason that we branded ER Shred, well, I got to go way back. I got to go way, way back to the original 9-day cleansing regimen. And what I remember well about that is the results. The results were significant. And the results were, my dad would always say, they'd knock your socks off. In fact, he would often say, he says the tape measure, something about the tape measure couldn't even believe it. The tape measure would be blown away. Like, I mean, it was really unique in that what I learned early on in network marketing in this kind of an industry is that you have to have a product that's not a Me Too product, not a product like you could get anywhere else. You have to have a product that is very much unparalleled. It has to be something that can't be got anywhere else. And it was that kind of a concept that really stood out to me. Now, that was probably the first, I don't know, probably the first 5 or 6 years of the company. And, that's when I became a millionaire in the company and so many others. And that's what got the company off the ground. And it was just very significant and substantial. Now, that is in my DNA. And I know that it's in the DNA of a lot of other people. When I say what is in my DNA, Bob, what is in my DNA is I want to market one concept. Now, the way that this came about, Bob, you and I are going to have a little laugh here because Bob and I probably did talk for at least 6 or 7 years, and we talked semi-frequently. Either I'd reach out to him or he'd reach out to me probably once a quarter, I would say. And maybe more frequent than that, but we would have these complaining sessions, and we were complaining about all the things that we were frustrated with about how things had gone. See, what had happened was our fulfillment company started, one of the most common things that network marketing companies do in order to stimulate more business from their existing customer base, this is common sense. They will bring out lots more products. And that's a way that they can generate more revenue from an existing customer base. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not at all a bad thing, actually. It's a great thing. In fact, like all the craze right now is the collagen elixir and the adaptogen elixir, and these are actually very good things. I would say those are good things for what? For an existing customer base. But if you're going to get your business off the ground, you have to specialize. You have to find a niche. You have to fill that niche, and you have to become very good at that niche. Very good. If you guys haven't gathered by the momentum that we're feeling around ER Shred, we are starting, as we've specialized in ER Shred over the last 10 months, we are starting to get very good at it, aren't we? And as a result, the results will begin to compound even more so. And it's a snowball effect. Bob, you and I know this industry now like the back of our hand. I mean, it's what we know. It's all I've done my whole life. It's all I've done my whole professional career. And I know that you've got to find that niche, and then you've got to lock in on it. You've got to focus on it. You've got to perfect it. And if you can perfect it, here's the good news. You will generate a customer base as long as the product delivers or the protocol delivers. Well, if you weren't on the call last night, whether you were or you weren't, you're on this call, you probably know that our protocol really does deliver. It is a home run. It is lights out. It is game over, all that. And so that's the greatest asset that we have available to us right now, isn't it, Bob?
Without question. And, Jesse is also right when he says the biggest asset we have is our community. And that's something that when you look at other programs out there, it's usually at best, you have a person in our fulfillment company, Isagenix, supporting that individual to get their results the best they know how. But they lack maybe the community, the large bonfire, as Sean likes to say, which is so true. We've brought in all these little groups from all around with the like mind of focusing on results. And we've created this massive fire that's now literally like exploding. And when it explodes, this is, I think, the message for tonight, Sean, is that we want you to be crystal clear on why we're branding ER Shred and not a specific product, why we're branding the system, but we're also bringing people into the community. Not just for accountability, but like last night, and I know Summer mentioned it specifically, that if it wasn't for the group, she probably wouldn't have been able to get through her first 11 days. And that's the beauty of what's happening, is that people, even we're not even financially connected, but you throw a question out there, you're going to get, as you, Jesse, it's 20, 30 different people chiming in and supporting you. Or I'm having a bad day. Don't worry, you can do it. I want also, Sean, for you to talk about the importance of, and then I'll go in with Allison in terms of niching, because you brought it up perfectly, Sean, but the importance, and this is what I want you to be prepared for. Yes, it was summertime. I hate using that personal excuse because it's like saying try, oh, well, I tried. I mean, it's summertime, so let's just check out. The reality is that, you can build this at any season if your mindset is intention. If your intention is, I'm going to build the business, you can build any month of the year. That said, we are getting into the hot season in terms of network marketing. We're getting to the hot season of people finally deciding summer's over, time to get my fat suit off, whatever they want to call it. I want to feel better. Kids are back in school. Let's knuckle down, and I want to get back after it. When this occurs, it's going to get very, very busy. And Sean, I want you to talk about the importance of having a system in place from an organizational standpoint.
You have to have that's, if I'm going to be brutally honest on this call about my personal strengths and my personal weaknesses, I have some strengths and I also have some weaknesses. And so the way that I operate is that when I lock in on something like ER Shred, I just do it all the time. I mean, I just go all the time. And so what would that look like if I were a brand new person? I would be in massive promotion all the time. If you got around me, you'd hear about ER Shred. If we were online, all I want to do. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm selling a product. That's the beauty of ER Shred, is that of necessity, Bob, we found a way to do network marketing or direct sales indirectly. And I actually think it's the most ingenious thing I've ever seen. And I don't want to take credit for that because it just happened. Bob, you always talk about that 3M sticky note moment, right? And it's so funny because I'm like the sticky note fanatic. I love sticky notes. And the sticky note was made by accident. It was a mistake. You told me, you taught me this. Well, ER Shred, I believe, came into formulation in our subconscious as a result of all of the past failings and the frustrations and the needs that we saw. And it came to fruition. It manifests in the form of ER Shred. What ER Shred is it's a way to keep things simple. It's a way to specialize. And it's a way that you can market something without being perceived as hawking products. I want to just tell Bob, I know it's not answering your question specifically about a system, but I really wanted to say this because some of the things you were saying, it brought this to my heart. And as you know, I've gotten really big on saying what's in my heart lately, right? And what's in my heart right now is, you know what, guys? Your friends don't want to see you hawking products all the time anymore. Do you understand that? Aren't you sick of being online and seeing everybody and their dog hawking products all the time? And so with that said, don't hawk products. Don't do that. I promise you, it could pay off a little bit in the beginning. But what happens is if you go down the road of hawking products, you can never stop hawking products. I know from experience, don't do it. You've got to trust us. We've had a lot of experience. My parents have had a lot of experience. What did my parents do, Bob? Did my parents hawk products? No. What my father did at the time was actually quite ingenious. My father discovered a way to do network marketing through education. What he did was he taught educational classes and forums. The entire 90, 95, 98% of the presentation was strictly educational. And that little 2 to 5% was about what? It was about a nutritional cleansing regimen. He never even said the name Isagenix in his presentations. That was by design. Why? Because he also knew that people are sick and tired of being hawked products all the time. So this is what's on my heart. What's on my heart is, how amazing is it that we can actually enroll people in Isagenix, and yet it's not even Isagenix per se. Like, I'm not knocking Isagenix. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is, what a beautiful arrangement, what a beautiful partnership. Because you know what? I went down the road of selling chocolates. I went down the road of selling probiotics. I went down the road of the online holistic health food store. I went down the road of selling, telomere products and everything else. And I got to tell you, what it does ultimately is it discredits your credibility amongst all your sphere of influence, because it's always about that next thing you're going to sell. And when they see you selling that next thing, guess what they say? Ah, he's doing it again. She's doing it again. What has she got to sell now? Well, my image is everything to me. My reputation is everything to me. And I really believe we could change the reputation of network marketing if we do it the right way. What's the right way to do it? The right way to do it is through education, which is what we've been doing. The right way to do it is through information. The right way to do it is through edification. It's through community, culture. It's through what's intrinsic, not what is extrinsic. What that means is it's through what is internal. Do it because you feel it. Do it because of your heart. Do it for all the right reasons. Don't do it for what's superficial. And the beauty of it is that my parents showed me the way, Bob, and I owe that to my mom and dad, because they never compromised what was their personal code of ethics, which was, we're going to do this the right way. And you hear network marketers brag about being a member of the NFL. They say, I'm a member of the NFL. That means I have no friends left. Well, guess what? That should not be something to brag about in network marketing, that you've hawked so much stuff and done so many different deals and approached so many different of your loved ones with so many different in opportunities that you've lost all credibility and you've got no friends left. We can do this the right way. I haven't lost any friends. Sean Escobar has been doing this for almost 20 years, and I've not lost any friends because I was taught the right way to do it. And that's all we're doing, is we're teaching people the right way to do it. I'm not the person to talk about systems. I'm not the right person to do that. Are systems important? Are they important though? They are important. They're absolutely important. So Bob, if you were to say, Sean, well then, if you didn't employ really definitive structured systems, then where did you get your success? Well, that's the beauty of the industry. Mel on the call is not a structured, organized, systematic person. I know that because we've talked a lot. But can someone like Mel be wildly successful? You're damn right she can, from the heart. And she can do it her own way. And that's the beauty of ER Shred, is that it just doesn't discriminate. It's a level playing field. Like, we don't care who you are, what you are. You can be successful at this if you have passion and if you want to get out there and change lives.
So the big thing, and since I have to wear the business hat here, yes, systems are critical, and I don't want you to miss. This is where the confusion comes. If you've noticed, in one of the frustrations when you first experienced ER Shred, we didn't give you a lot of detailed specifics. You have to do it bang, 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 bang this way. In other words, we were not coming from a scarcity mindset of compliance. You have to do it my way or you're not going to succeed. We invited you to do it our way. But remember, the words that Sean, Jesse, and myself have always used is ER Shred is empowering. We're empowering you. Are we enabling bad habits, or are we empowering you from a standpoint of allowing you to decide? That's the genius of ER Shred. Here's the key. It's a system. You don't even realize it's a system because we're putting you on the tracks to run on. At the end of that 11 days, what's next? I don't know. How do you feel? Gee, can I do this again? Damn straight you can do it again. That's our hope. We want you to do it again. But we want you to sign up and say, I'm in. Because there's a difference in psychology when I say I want to versus someone's telling you, you need to do this. And that what makes us so unique in the industry, so refreshing, so inviting. I don't even think people really recognize that's happening. That's one of the geniuses of ER Shred. So let's go next level now, since this is the business call.
Bob,
It
you were
is
the right
still the
person. You were
same.
the right person to explain that, by the way, not me. You just did that in a beautiful way. And I agree with you 100%. We do it through, not through compliance. If we did it through compliance, then people wouldn't experience the empowerment they're experiencing. So thank you.
Well, it worked out perfectly for this reason. And thank you for allowing me to have this platform. But the idea is what Sean also talked about, and in the beginning, it's simplicity, and simplicity will duplicate. What happened to our old company as it was evolving with more and more products, we got bigger and bigger kits. We've already touched on this. It got very confusing in terms of what product fits in where and what day and how do I take it. As Sean mentioned earlier in a post, I think today even, we've got a handful of products. We've got the Cleanse for Life. We have obviously our Isolene Pro shakes. We have the bone broth. We have the sleep spray, and we have the Hydrate for our electrolytes. That's it. 5 products. It's not rocket science, but we're showing you a system right off the bat that if you follow it the way we've laid it out, you're going to get pretty good results. And what happens when people in ER Shred do not follow it? They fess up themselves and say, you know what, the first couple times I didn't do it the right way, but this time I am going to step in and do it the right way because they're mentally ready. So you have your great results. We have amazing people beginning to share. What I wanted to talk about a system from a business perspective is that if you don't have like a really easy system that people can understand in terms of how am I going to onboard all of these brand new people, you can get overwhelmed quite easily. So the system is how we taught in the beginning. We're going to share our story. Sean's done a great job of getting that out of people. How were you before? How were you during? Even if it was tough, he wants you to be authentic. How do you feel afterwards? And I thought it was hilarious when Summer said, I feel amazing. And Sean goes, no, you don't. And he was obviously kidding. And she goes, I sure do. Anyway, that's what is happening with people. They feel so excited because of their body changing from the inside out. We know that they will share it, just like Warren doing lives, coming on and just sharing from his heart. I mean, they're golden. People relate to that, Warren. And that's all you got to do is just get out there more often and just talk from the heart. Hey, this is affecting me this way, and this is why. So the system of the business is, number one, is share your story. We want to pique people's interests, and then we want to pass them on in a way where I want you guys to think about who you can partner with that will do like the new version today, which working, and I was going to talk to Colin about this, is doing a 3-way text. So simply the idea would be, I got Sean's interest. He wants to learn more. And I literally say something like, Sean, absolutely. You know what, Colin, he's really the guy to talk to. Is it okay if I put you on a 3-way text with Colin? He's the one who I've partnered with. He can answer all your questions. Now, I may know more than Colin about ER Shred, but here's the psychology. Remember, we talked about the psychology of when you say, I want to versus need to. Well, when you come to me and say, tell me about ER Shred, subconsciously, you're going to get into a mental ping pong fight with me of yes, no, maybe. And you go back and forth, and it gets into a war of wills. We don't want that to happen. But if I literally pique your interest and then I pass it on to a person that you're not familiar with, Colin's going to talk to Warren, and Colin's going to answer Warren's questions. Hey, Warren, so what are you looking for? What questions do you have? And at the end of that, he's going to say, after he answers them all, he's like, great. Anything else? Nope. Awesome. Ready to get started? The beauty of it is that there's no emotional attachment from Colin and Warren, and he's just there to answer questions and get you to sign up. Whereas if I'm looking for a brand new person to come on, join my team, subconsciously, I might get a little anxious with them in terms of wanting to, like, convincing them, oh, come on, you got to join me, whatever it might be. So if you really want to be super successful, they used to refer to it as a 3-way call, right, Sean? And that's where you would have to get someone on the line.
I got some thoughts on that too. I'd like to share a couple.
But we don't want to do a 3-way call, but I'm just suggesting a 3-way text and bring another third party in. Go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry.
What I would suggest, because see, we're assuming, I really do believe your wife is tremendous at this. She teaches me, and I've learned from your wife about posturing. And I've learned from your wife about presence and certainty. Posturing, presence, certainty. Posturing, presence, certainty. And I actually believe that you are not going to have to do a lot of these three-way calls. We used to do them all the time. Why? Because it's this old network marketing concept of, you need that validation. But I really believe that if you use that ershred.com, or if you get your own version of it, they can order there, which is nice, the Now site. But that's the three-way call. And now you have to have the ability to hold someone accountable. Now that is going to be the posturing. That's going to be the certainty. That's going to be you stepping into a space of, you've got something they need. You've got something that is valuable. And why not, instead of doing, having to try, see, a lot of people don't do three-way calls. And here's the reason why. Bob, I'm a top earner. I've been a top 50 earner as long as I can remember. And guess what? The majority of my people, I beg them and beg them and beg them and beg them and beg them to put me on three-way calls. And you know what? The majority don't. And you know why they don't? They don't want to inconvenience me. That's the reason. I figured this out. They don't want to inconvenience me, and it's too inconvenient to connect all those dots. So I know you're not saying to do the literal three-way call like we used to do it, but my suggestion is through posturing, through certainty, you get them to the website. You let that resource do the educating for you. So you follow up knowing that they looked at the website. And then if they've looked at the website, and you're following up always from a place of service, right? So you're like, hey, I'm so excited to teach you about this. You really do need to get educated. And so just give me 20 minutes, go to this website, check it out, and I'll follow up with you. And you do this all from a place of service. And then what you do is you absolutely follow up. And I'm going to tell you, that's the most critical factor. And why don't people do it? Because they don't have the certainty, because they don't have the posturing. So if you'll follow up, they always say the fortune is in the follow-up, you'll probably have a customer. Truthfully, if you've put them in the group and they're snooping around in there and you've got them on the site and they've gotten educated, you've probably got a customer. And that's a beautiful thing. If you don't have a customer, then it's probably time to employ exactly what Bob is talking about and, introduce them to another individual and let that person validate through a story, let them validate. We should be sharing stories all the time. I mean, what's crazy, Bob? The people that was so successful in the beginning of Isagenix, it was people like Warren Say, it was people like Mel, it was all these people who come from everyday walks of life. Now, the problem we've got now is the perception now is, at least in Isagenix, is that you've got to be this hot to trot business executive, and you've got to be able to talk a certain lingo, and you've got to be able to look a certain way. And it's just not true. The beauty of our industry is that anybody and everybody can do it. And we proved it in the beginning. So many of those millionaires were just average, ordinary people, and not big educations, not big business executives. We're going to do it all over again in ER Shred. We're going to have so many people making so much money, and it's going to be such a great thing. It's coming. It's coming. Just take courage and have that certainty and start to reach out to everybody you know. That would be my feedback around that.
So the three-way text is an option.
Yeah.
There's a million ways to build this business. I like bringing in a third party if I'm not comfortable. Let's say I'm calling we called it your hairy list. Let's say it's the biggest person, like, oh my God, if they join my team, that would be unbelievable, but I'm terrified to talk to them. Well, the easy way to do it is pique their interest. They're going to say, yeah, I'd like to have more energy. I'd like to lose weight. You look pretty good. I mean, what are you doing? Great. If I'm not prepared, I'm so new, leverage somebody in ER Shred, leverage a teammate if you're lucky enough to have a teammate doing this with you in ER Shred. And if not, you can do a three-way text. You can also, your third party can be the ER Shred community. That's giving you, that's validation. That's going to give you the validation that you need and the confidence to say, hey, it's just not me telling you this. I want to invite you to our community and just take a look, see what you think. As Sean will say, and he almost said it, I've heard this 1,000 times from the leaders, the biggest critical aspect of being successful in this business is the follow-up. You can't throw people in and not follow up with them. And you can't forget about them. You gotta, stay organized. Maybe it's old fashioned notebook and paper, how I typically like it. I typically put it in the computer on my notes or on my lap, on my phone, and try to be high tech, and I lose it. And I don't, because my brain doesn't work that way efficiently. Kids, on the other hand, they're going to go on and do it that manner. So the system is going to be
Bob,
partly
can I add,
your organization. Go ahead.
can I add
Natasha.
something? Hi.
Sure.
Can I add something? Because I think what Sean was saying is so key. Because really it is, I used to get the EBGBs with the three-way call sometimes because, it's like, oh, well, let me get this friend of mine on the phone with you, and you're like, oh man, there's that kind of thing. But then on the other hand, like what I love with what happens with our team and our community and stuff is we kind of search around to who might be suited for that person. Now, of course, ER Shred group is a great place to put people in because they get so much love and validation and seeing what people are doing, right? But then, Warren might say, hey, Todd, well, this is a perfect example. Y'all met Stacy on Come Live last night. She's so sweet. And I've never met her. I've never, I just saw her live last night for the first time. And we've literally talked all through her 11-day that she just finished. And I feel like I've known her my whole life now, and it's crazy. I think that's one of the greatest gifts about what we do is the relationships we make and how just authentic it is. And, there are times where it's not the right person I'm talking to. I can feel it, So I'll be like, oh, this guy's a financial guy. Hey, can I get Bob Sivrite on, he's financial. You guys have so much in common. I'd love to get him on a call. I haven't done the three-way text as much. I'm more of a face-to-face voice, feeling the energy, feeling the heart person. So text, I feel like that kind of gets a little lost. Not that it doesn't work. I know it works great, especially for the younger generation. Might be dating myself a little bit. But yeah, I just think that the community, we already have such an amazing community with ER Shred that just having that within our teams and being able to say, hey, so-and-so, I've got this, he's, maybe retiring from working somewhere and, needing to lose weight. And hey, I've got this great friend, Warren, he's just done this. He's had amazing results. Can I get him on a chat with you? I think that's totally fine. But I think I almost go with the individual, like what that person might need. We're doing people that we're reaching out to individual, our own people, but we're doing a lot of people who are with us who are now introducing ER Shred to their people, which of course is the key. You want that duplication to keep happening. So I'm reaching down far, like, Annette might be direct to me, but then she's got Beth and she's got TJ under and I may go, as deep as they need me to have a conversation and Rick as well. So that's kind of, I just feel like if everybody's available and there's so much love in this, so it's kind of, it just kind of happens.
Well, it's a very, very good point you just made, Natasha, and that is being relatable. But also what you mentioned is that if you're not the right person, realizing that, hey, there might be a better fit. If it's a finance guy, yeah, it'd make a lot of sense to put that person on the line, vice versa. So that is a great point, being relatable. The other thing is that what I want you to think about, and this is where I messed myself up. So luckily I married up. My second wife, I got it right. She literally pulled me aside. Not only did she get me to do Facebook Lives, which was a miracle. But the other thing is that she was able to say, would you quit trying to be everything to everyone? And I go, what do you mean? She goes, you're not going to relate to everybody. I know you think you are, but what I want you to do is focus on your avatar, your specialized niche. And this is what Sean was talking about. And this is what Allison is very, very good on, especially when she's coaching the women on posture, certainty, confidence, but focusing on the message to who your right audience is. So Allison, are you out there? Can you?
I'm here, but I do have to hop on the bandwagon about this three-way text thing. Because here's what I want you guys to know. there isn't just one way to build. There isn't the right way. And very often we get caught in this idea that there is only one way to build because we are being trained on a certain system from the company. And there's a reason why they have to do that. There has to be consistency in their messaging and duplication and ease, right? And so we get very caught in, well, I have to do it this way. And if I'm not doing it this way, then I'm somehow doing it wrong. And here's what I want to say to you. I want to just give you guys full permission to just show up on social media authentically as yourself 100% and conduct yourself in your business in a way that's in alignment with what feels authentic and good to you. Now, for someone like me, for someone like Sean, you know, maybe we feel comfortable talking to somebody who's interested in the program and just doing that all ourselves and not involving anybody else. And I've also had a lot of success in Isagenix, and I've probably had maybe 5 people do a call for me out of like thousands. However, I have been the third party for thousands of people on my team. I see so much value in that third party for people who are just getting started, because very often when you're just getting started, you don't have the posture yet. You don't have that certainty yet. You may have some awkwardness around sharing, or you may view it in that like old model of, you know, network marketing, salesy, slimy, which it's not. It doesn't have to be. It can literally be whatever it is that you want it to be. For me, it's just literally an invitation into transformation. That's what I think about it. It's a conversation that may potentially lead to an invitation into transformation. That is how I see either a call or a private message or an interaction, right? But before you've done some of that work, or you get to that point, you've just had a good experience, you have your story, but you don't know the details. And, you know, maybe you feel nervous about having to answer questions that you just don't know the answers to. And so while you're building your confidence and your posture around the whole process, I think it's good for people to know that they can lean on a teammate. They can lean on the community to, you know, not have to do that like heavy lifting, because sometimes when people feel like they have to do that or be that role, then they're just not going to say anything at all. And we don't want that, you know? And so I think you have to sort of know where you are in the process and what feels good to you, and know that there are different options for you to build in a way that is authentic to you. Okay. So that's like, I just had to say that. I had to jump on that bandwagon. I hope that's okay, Bob.
No, that's totally fine. So
okay.
I'm with you. And that is the other thing, is that we want you to be authentic. We want you to be you. Don't try to be somebody else, and don't try to fit yourself. Like if you're a round hole, you don't want to force a square peg into it, right? So you got to basically find what works for you, that's ease. But again, keep it simple. It's a very basic system. Share your story. Use something to elevate you, either be it our community or 3-way text, or like you're old fashioned like me. Yes, I like getting them on the phone with somebody that might be more relatable to them. But keep it simple and easy. Now,
no,
Allison,
you want me to talk about niching. So along those lines, it's sort of this double-edged sword, because we think that the fastest way to build our business is just to talk to everybody and to offer all the things to all the people all the time. But then what happens is we just blend into the sea of other people on Facebook, as Sean said, hawking their thing. And so how do we stand out online in a very busy space and in a time where people have lost trust? You know, people are very skeptical. They have their walls up. They don't go on to Facebook to be sold. So we have to sort of find ways to naturally share, right? And how do we stand out is by getting very specific about who it is that we are and who it is that we serve and what specific problems we feel called to solve, right? And why. And so a lot of times people are just trying to talk to everybody all the time, and it winds up that nobody actually hears our message. So I want to give kind of this example, because I really believe that when you can niche down and have that clarity around, what you're specifically excited to talk about, like what aspect of this whole thing is lighting your fire, what do you want to jump out of bed and talk about, right? Who specifically do you want to help and who do you want to serve? When you can get really clear about that and you don't feel like you have to be everything to everyone and you can just be in your own zone of genius, that is when that natural confidence comes out. That is when you become magnetic to people and when they actually want to hear what you have to say. So, we use this term niche a lot. I'm just going to kind of give you this example of it to sort of paint the picture here, but your niche is really your area of specialty. Okay, within the overall category of, whatever it is that you're doing or, whatever it is that you're offering, there's many levels to your niche, but just for ease and simplicity today, I just want to use the example of like the general family physician versus the specialist, okay? And how this applies to your social media and in your marketing. So a family practitioner knows a little bit about a lot of things, right? But if I had a specific issue like digestive problems, for example, I'd want to see a gastroenterologist. Or, if I had issues with my skin, I'd want to see a dermatologist. And if I'm looking for, let's say I'm looking for a psychologist for my teenager to help her with, let's just say she's struggling with panic attacks. And I see on Facebook that, or I go to the website and I see that there are all these psychologists and they're advertising about helping people with anxiety and depression and ADD and OCD and all different kinds of things. But then I go to somebody's website and I see that there's someone in my area who specializes specifically in helping teens with panic disorder. That is who I'm going to call, even if the other ones are also capable of helping me, because it's all about perception. It's all about who do I believe is most capable of helping me to solve my specific problem. And in business, it's no different, right? So people are looking for solutions to their specific problems. And so it's not enough to just say, well, I'm a wellness coach, or I sell shakes, or I sell this, and it's good for energy, and it's good for this, and it's good for performance, and it's good for this, and all these things, because then I just blend in, and then I'm just basically hawking a product. And so what I want to do in my storytelling and in my messaging and my Facebook Lives and however you choose to build your business is really connecting with why someone would even want to try your program. And so, posting about all the million different things versus becoming the specialist in the one area that you feel really lit up about. So, rather than, well, this program can help with 500 different things, maybe my specialty is that I feel particularly called to work with women in menopause or women who are dealing with hormonal issues, who are, let's say, carrying an extra 30 pounds for the first time, right? Then my messaging and the stories that I tell and basically how I connect on social media is through these very specific, relatable stories to the person who I am trying to reach out to. And one of the ways that we really build trust with our ideal client or our soulmate client, whoever it is that, we really want to work with most, if you will, is by validating them in their experience, is by basically saying, I know where you are. I know why you're there. I know what you've been trying. I know why it's not working. And I have this other thing over here. I'm doing it in this new, fresh, and exciting way. That is basically the new method, right? You're talking in your content, you can talk about the old way of doing it, the old belief systems, the in this situation, we're talking about air shred, the beliefs about meat and it being bad and cholesterol and things like that, and sort of validating and letting them off the hook for being where they're at. Like saying, I know where you're at. I know how it's impacting you emotionally, physically, in your relationships, like really not being afraid to call out what is actually happening with your people right now and validating them in their experience right now. Okay. Because when people when you can connect with your people in that way, then for them, it's like, God, she knows me. Like, is she in my head? Is she in my house? Is she living my life? When I'm willing to actually share examples and stories of how it's actually affecting them right now. Because guys, losing weight is never just about wanting to fit into the skinny jeans. Okay. On the surface, yes. But how is having the extra weight actually impacting you and impacting those people layers deep? Right. And so being willing to be vulnerable about your own experience, about your own journey, about where you were before you were introduced, about what that looked like, right? And to connect with your ideal person in their struggle right now. And then, where are you now? And how has that changed your life? And what is the ripple effect of saying yes, right? And the more clear we can be about who it is that we want to work with, and specifically what issues we feel called to help people solve, and then we can introduce this method. We basically create this gap for people of where they are right now, where they want to be. And we say, we understand where you are and we understand where you want to be and why you're here and why the old method isn't working. And guess what? We have a vehicle, we have a ferry to take you from the island that you're on right now to this island with all of this backup, doing it in this new, fresh way that you've never done it before. And look at all these testimonials and look at our group, and the evidence is overwhelming. And then, as Sean was saying, then it sort of just speaks for itself. When you're active on social media, when you're having these conversations with people, and you're really speaking to their heart and where they are right now, specifically, you're going to stand out. You're going to stand out, and you're going to speak to their heart, and they're going to know that you are their person because you understand them in a way that the people who are just going, well, I have an oil for this and I have this for that. And it's going to help you with your finances and your relationships and you're this and you're that. And you just look ridiculous, right? We've all been there and done that. So if you're doing that right now, this is not to shame you because we've all been there. Okay. But what we know from the trends in marketing is that the more specific and clear you can get about your thing and just be in that zone of genius and not feel that you have to serve everybody. Not everybody is going to be an ideal candidate for this, and that is okay.
Perfect. So I do have a couple questions for you.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I
No,
get
it's
passionate.
fantastic. No, that's why I wanted you on. I mean, it's fantastic. It's a wonderful message.
Okay.
But we got a couple different layers here, and I want people to think out of the box a little bit. Natasha brought up being relatable to the person who she's talking with. So this can be done in a couple different ways. As an example, I don't want to say, I know you had an autoimmune issue. I mean, all practical purposes, you still in the medical.
You're talking to me, right?
I'm talking to you. You've got an autoimmune. Okay. I don't know if Natasha has an autoimmune. Just about everybody has an autoimmune these days.
Okay.
There's hundreds of them. I'll make one up for myself. No,
Yes.
in all seriousness, because people on our team knew your story,
Yes.
they would often get you on the phone of, oh my God, you sound like Allie. Is it okay if I get Allie to talk with you? And you were able to basically take over and be the person that's relatable to their specific issue So that's one way. If you're like, wow, this
I was
person's
like the
outside of
go-to.
my, yeah, you were
Yeah.
the go-to.
I
But
was a go-to.
if they were me coming to me talking about autoimmune, I can't authentically answer their questions or be relatable to them. So I would go, I know somebody. I have Allison. She'd be perfect person to talk to. That's one way.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing I want to say about that. Okay. Is there's
Mhm.
two different ways that you can look at bringing in that third party. Okay. You can either look at that bringing in that third party as, oh, that's slimy or that's weird, or I'm going to put them in an awkward spot, or it's manipulative or whatever.
Mhm.
Or I can look at it as I'm serving that person in the highest form that I can by actually connecting them with somebody who speaks their same language and who would actually be able to relate in a way that I can't relate. And so you're actually serving the person that you are working with by bringing in that third party who you feel would be a better fit to relate to them.
One of the beauties of branding ER Shred again, because we're not branding a specific product, we're not branding or this is for stress, this is for weight loss, this is for, we're not everything to everybody. But
Mhm.
I will have to be honest with you. I think just about everybody could benefit from ER Shred. Doesn't matter what walk of life you're in.
Right.
From a marketing standpoint that you pointed out, I think it's important for someone like myself to get really focused in on who am I going to be most relatable to? And that's probably not going to be women wanting to lose pregnancy weight, as an example.
Right.
That's going to be people, guys like me, who maybe have lost a step that all of a sudden realize that, holy cow, I can get into 32-inch jeans again. I never thought that was possible. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm 20 something again, and I'm looking better. And what guy doesn't want that? Whatever. That's going to be my market. Right. Understanding that there will be other people that they know of that may also want to learn more about ER Shred, but for different purposes. So it's important for me to listen to my customer or potential customer and listen to those focused issues they have. So this is hard. This was very, very hard for me in the beginning. You get so excited, you want to tell everything to everybody in all aspects. And oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you about my sleep. Did I tell you about my sleep yet? I know I told you about weight loss, stress, and I don't have panic attacks anymore, but did I tell you about my sleep? You want to basically zero in on what their needs are. And there's usually one or two that's most important. And I like, Allison, you always phrase a question in that when you first start talking with a person, you typically ask them up front, what is it that you're looking for, or what would change your life? What would be an outcome? How do you phrase that question when you're talking to somebody to kind of zero in on what they want? Am I putting you on the spot?
I don't know which question it's like. I have a lot of questions. I mean,
as an example,
I'm always at, what piqued your interest, right? And then what I'm trying to do is peel away the layers of why that's meaningful for them, right? Like, I'd like to lose 30 pounds. Great. Why would that be meaningful for you? Or, how do you feel that having the extra 30 pounds is impacting your life? Physically, is it impacting your life emotionally, your mood, your relationships? I'm trying to get them to make the connection between, it's not just about getting into your skinny jeans. I want them to understand the full transformation that is going to happen once they take these steps forward. And I like to sort of help paint the vision for them about, what life would look like, or once they've released the weight, or whatever, insert whatever the problem is that you're talking to them about. But also, I like them to understand sort of, well, what's worst case scenario if you don't address this? Because I think it's important for people to understand that as well. But I want them, is that what you're asking? I'm not sure which question you're
there's so
talking
much, as Sean likes to say, there's so much depth here, because there is. And that's getting into the psychology of why.
Right.
I'd like to lose 30 pounds. Well, who if you have 30 pounds to lose, who wouldn't want to lose 30 pounds? But that's not
Right.
getting to their why. That's not
But what does that
the
actually
difference
mean?
maker.
You know, why would that be meaningful for you?
That could be for a grandparent. That could be, I want to get down on the floor and play with my grandkids and have the energy to do so.
Right.
As an
And
example.
we just keep
Or
sort
it
of
could
peeling that
be
away. Why is
until
that
you can
important
get to that
you?
emotional raw.
Right.
This is what's going to move me to do it. And again,
Right.
the better you get at these questions, the closer you can get to their raw nerve why, the chances are they're going to sign up with you because you've emotionally connected the bingo. That's why you want to do this.
People
and
they don't buy or they don't take action because of facts and figures and science, okay? Because of knowledge. They take action when they feel inspired because they have just felt something. We know that about human behavior, that you have to feel something before you take action. Now that take action can be to reach out and say, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about this? That take action can be to press the purchase button, whatever it is, but they have to feel something before they take action. And so if we're just staying very surface level with people and we're not actually allowing them to talk about, you know, what life looks like right now and how it's impacting them right now, and what could life look like if they, you know, took care of the situation that they're coming to you for, whatever it is. If we can get them to that point where they feel something, then we can give them that lifeboat or that raft or that, you know, whatever it is, because we have a solution. Right. And
Perfect.
so
No.
sometimes we have to go there with people and hold that space for people and to feel safe in sharing that with us, you know, by really listening and being empathetic to where they are.
So I want to I do have to close it out because we're getting close to the top of the hour, but there's going to be a common theme as we do these calls. And a lot of times people are going to go, well, you're not really saying anything new. The hope is that whoever I'm interviewing at that time, they're going to say something that resonates with you versus hearing it from me or hearing it from Sean. That's just how it works. And the simplicity of the system, the genius is Shred is an empowerment system. We get you to say, yes, I want to do this. The goal is long-term consumption, and that's happening naturally. And we're already seeing it now that we're in 10, 11 months. We can see the people who are sticking, and they're sticking because they feel good. They're sticking because of results, but don't underestimate another big major reason they're sticking is the community, being part of something, being part of our Shred community. But then when they begin to share with others, they begin to gain a purpose of, I'm here to help others feel the same. And I saw that, I think Susan Love said the same thing. I'm here to help women my age lose weight. You become more goal-oriented or purpose-driven, and that is gold. So what we have here with Shred, and I'll bring Sean back on if he is still here, is we want to talk about, we're empowering people, get really good at explaining Shred in your words what it is. It's an elimination reset protocol that's going to allow you to get your metabolism back. It's going to allow you to bang, ABC as it relates to your story. That is how I'd always use it. Or using it, once you get into this and you're getting really good at it, you can start using my story. You can use Sean's story. You can bring other people into it. But initially, it's going to be your story that's going to resonate and connect with them. They want what you have. We're empowering for reason. We want people to buy in rather than being told they have to do something and you have to do it this way to be part of our group. Sean's genius in terms of how he elevates and he makes everybody feel welcome. We know for a fact that if we get the results and then if we treat people properly and if we give them the right acknowledgement, and this is my last 2 cents and I'll bring Sean in, one of the best things that you can do is if you see someone make a Facebook post in our group that really registered with you, go the next step. And if you don't, if you're friends with them, probably it's easy to become a friend with somebody in your shred, but send them a voice message on Messenger and just say, Natasha, I really resonated with your post today. And I want to let you know it meant so much to me. Thank you so much. If it wasn't for that, I don't know, whatever. Maybe I wouldn't have gotten through my 11 day. Maybe I wouldn't have gotten through my cleanse day. But when you get the opportunity to pass on kindness or gratitude, it only brings more gratitude back to the community. And that's all we have to do with our team. Again, if you're branding ER Shred the way I am, I'm bringing them as quickly as I can into our community because I want them to feel the love from everybody, from Natasha, from Warren, to Allison, to Sean, to Mimi. I want them to feel part of that. And that is going to allow it to become sticky, and they're going to be part of a mission. And that is gold. I mean, all the books talk about this. Sean, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Hey, Bob. Yeah, Bob, you know what? Wanted to say a couple things. Thanks for mentioning the voice message, because I agree with both Ali and Tasha that as this is a relationship business, and your goal should be all along the way to forge that relationship. There are people who I know that have ordered Isagenix products for years and years and years, and they are better off for it, but they've done it for no other reason than that they really like me and I really like them. And I'm grateful for that. And every now and then I'll reach out to those types of people and I'll just thank them. I'll just say, thanks for ordering all these years. Or if I see them in person, I say, I notice you keep ordering. And I just want to tell you, I do appreciate it. Voice message is phenomenal. If you are to do any kind of a three-way interaction, which Bob, you're right, it's effective. It is effective because of the validation part of it. My family won't listen to me. They won't. My family won't listen to me about anything. My immediate family, I wish they would, but you know what? They listen to other people. And so knowing that psychology, it is smart. It is good practice. And I actually would prefer, if any of you were to ever use me as your third-party validation, let me do that for you when you feel like I could benefit you, and let Bob do that for you, or Ali, or whomever. And I personally would prefer that it is in voice messenger. And I want everybody to step into that. Now that's funny because I know that when people look at Ali and she's so comfortable in front of the camera, and Bob has become so comfortable in front of the camera, Tosh is so comfortable. It wasn't always that way, was it, guys? It used to be scary. It used to be horribly intimidating. And you used to go back. My wife used to tease me because I would go back and watch my own videos over and over and over and
Me
over
too.
again. And I would say, she would say, why are you watching yourself? And I said, I just hope that I hope I'm doing a good job. Like I'm actually like critiquing myself. I'm trying to make sure I don't say the uhs and the
I do the same
ums.
thing, Sean, but that's how we got
That's how we grow.
comfortable, was
That's how we grow.
by going back and growing and learning.
That's exactly how we grow. And it's the same with voice message. If you're intimidated to do it, part of ER Shred is shred. And we just want to shred limiting beliefs. And we just want to shred anything that you're afraid of. We want to shred anything that's holding you back. So one of those things might be, oh my God, look how people are showing up with these lives. Look how they're doing it. And Warren is a perfect example, and Mel is a perfect example, because even though I know Mel's not scared to get in front of the camera, that's for darn sure, but that's because of her past career. But, I bet even Mel would admit that sometimes she's nervous. Will people like what I say? Will people like my song? You know what? One of the most powerful things that was said tonight, and it was my big takeaway for the night, was when Ali said, you're not going to get everybody. Thank you. You're not going to get everybody. And you need to know this. You're going to get all types for your product. And that's a good thing. And in time, you're going to get very skilled at communicating with all types of people. ER Shred, what you don't realize is what we're putting you through tonight is personal development. And if you keep coming on these calls every week, you're going to become a better person. You're going to become an evolved person, and you're going to step into some great things. And if you don't see a family member or a friend for a year or 2 years, and you keep getting on these calls every single week, when they see you, they're going to go, oh my God, like you've really improved. We're talking about ER Shred enhancing people. This is all part of it. The personal development factor is all part of that. And how lucky we are to have people like Tasha and Bob and Allie. Now, the kinds that are going to join you and link arms with you are going to be your like kind. And that is going to be pretty special. And that's going to happen naturally. You got to play the numbers. You got to attract lots of customers. And when you do, you'll attract your like kind, and you'll know because you'll vibe off one another and you'll really enjoy one another. And some of my best friends I did meet in this industry, my dearest friends in the world that would do anything for me and I would do anything for them. In order for you to find that like kind, you've got to do the do, and you got to keep showing up. That would be what I would like to end with, is just in order for you to have the fun. Okay, it's like my son's playing soccer right now, guys, and guess what the coach is making him do? The miserable stuff, making him do all these drills over and over. I just watched him for an hour and a half. I'm the assistant coach, but I watched him for an hour and a half. It's just the same drills over and over. And the kids are going, can't we just play a soccer game? But what they don't know is once they become prolific at those skills, then when they get to play the game becomes very easy, but the game becomes very rewarding and very fun. This game is fun. This game is very rewarding. And your teammates, I hope you appreciate this tribe we've developed here, and that we're growing, and it's just going to snowball. It's pretty special. So thank you, guys.
Thanks, Sean. That's wonderful, guys. The hour's up. This was fun. I hope you got some golden nuggets out of this, as always. Please be active in Shredders Unite, our group. The more people we get more active in posting in that, just like in ER Shred Nation, the more we can support, elevate, as well as share great ideas so that we can help each other with our businesses. I mean, that's really the goal in Shredders Unite, is how can we become better at sharing ER Shred. And finally, if you haven't taken a look at it, look at ershred.biz, ershred.biz. That's really the entire business. Yes, there's more levels, there's complexity with the comp plan, et cetera, but it's getting out and just understanding. It's you finding two people and helping them do the same thing. And not everybody's going to say yes. The more often you ask, the more likely you're going to have success. And that's really what it comes down to. Sean's so correct. So get busy. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. I hope Colin will feel better soon. Send your good prayers, wishes, and vibrations his way. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so
Bob.
much.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Good-
Sean.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Thanks,
night.
Sean.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye,
Good
thank you.
night.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Exciting.